Bible says God told David that the sword would never leave his house. If you read about the life of David, and eventually we're going to, if the Lord leaves us here long enough, David's children killed each other. They tried to kill him. David paid a price for committing the sin. Now let me ask you a question. I'm going to hit on a very touchy subject this morning that affects many of us. Divorce. Can a person be saved and be divorced? Absolutely. Can a person be saved and be remarried? Absolutely. If you were saved to begin with, you're still saved. You do not lose your salvation. However, let me give you a little hint, and many of you know about this. You're going through of it with maybe a family member, maybe going through it yourself. When you marry and divorce, if you're remarried and you have to deal with someone else's children, or they have to deal with your children, does everything go the way God wants it to? No. Have it in my own family. It's not according to God's will. God says don't do that, because if you do, it's going to be a hardship to you. It's not going to take away your salvation. It's not going to keep you from going to heaven. But it's not the center of God's will. So you will be paying a price for it. Amen? Amen. But it has nothing to do with your salvation. Nothing. Now, there are two offices, according to the New Testament, that a man cannot hold if he's been married or divorced. And that is pastor or deacon. Has nothing to do with salvation. I had a man look me right in the face one time, and he said, I guess you think because I'm divorced, I'm lost. I said, that has nothing to do with your salvation in any way. I don't believe some of the things that Samson was doing had anything to do with his salvation. I think it had to do with what he was going to pay for later. I think it had to do with the fact many people might be paying a price. But it was nothing to do with whether or not he was born again. As we look at the life of Samson, keep that in mind. It's easy to look at Samson's life and say, boy, he must have been lost. Look what he did. Until I look at my own life and I see some of the things that I've done, some of the thoughts that have gone through my mind, and if everybody else knew me as well as me and God know me, they would say I was lost. Amen? We have all sinned and come short of the glory of God. Now, I use divorce as an example. Let me explain something to you. It's no more of a problem than if you had told a little white lie. Has anybody here ever been guilty of telling a little white lie? Well, sure we have. When is it right to tell a little white lie? There's no such thing as a little white lie. Let's get this straight. You're either telling the truth or you're lying. It's one or the other. Anything that we do that falls short of the glory of God is a sin in our life. Anything that comes between us and God to keep us from being what He wants us to be is sin. It is a separation from God. But praise God, He said that all we have to do is cry out to Him, Father, please forgive me. And He wipes all this away from us. And He puts us back in that right relationship with Him. Samson did some things that were a little bolder, I think, than most of us do today. But keep in mind the day and time that Samson was living. He was living in a day and time where he had no example of nobody. There was no man to lead. God didn't have somebody that stood out. There was nobody that was willing to say, I believe God and I'll do what He tells me to do. I'm going to trust Him. I know by faith He can take care of it. There was nobody to do that. And every man just did that which he thought was right. God says there's got to be somebody. And I've got to get Israel started here. Now I want you to notice what it says about Samson. He didn't deliver Israel from the Philistines. It says He just got them started. God used Samson to stir things up. Samson was an agitator. time when the church needs an agitator. Let me ask you this. There's a thing in the middle of our washing machine. Probably you've got one too. It kind of bounces and moves around. What do you call that thing? Agitator. What's it do? Kind of shake things up and loosens the dirt and gets it so it can be washed away. Is that right? You know, sometimes it takes somebody in the church to point out some things to kind of loosen things up, kind of get them agitated a little bit. When we get to the point where we're rearing back, taking it easy, we collect this dirt, this sin. And sometimes it takes somebody coming along and saying, do you have any idea what you're doing? Sometimes God uses preachers to say, hey, look at your life just a little bit. You're starting to look like Samson did. You're starting to look like some of the other men in the Bible that we wonder how they could do what they did. Somebody needs to say to the church today, it's time we woke up. It's time we got rid of some of the dirt and the filth. It's time we stood for God. You know, it hadn't been long back that we were talking about how, well, you know, if we had stood against the lottery, there wouldn't be a lottery. But you know what? The lotteries get to be an accepted thing, church-wide. Not nationwide or statewide, but church-wide. Is that right? It's accepted. It's no big deal. What's the big problem today? What is the big problem? Is it drugs? Is it alcohol? Is it the lottery? Is it divorce? Adultery? Let's tell it just the way it